It's easy to look at the state of FPS games right now and, say we're doomed. Heck, even look at a lot of other communities right now. People are pissed. In many ways, maybe we are.
But Stone, Call of Duty just came out with their beta. That was the biggest beta ever.
And it did post. It was the biggest beta they've had in history. The most hours played and the most matches played in any Call of Duty. This is also why I say these are big marketing events. They're the modern day demos. I remember I used to get them back in the Xbox magazines. I'd always have something new to play, try out, rent something from Blockbuster. It's a little different these days. This is the hype piece. And it's weird I even have to say this, but I feel like I need to remind everybody that if you are having fun with the game, by all means, man, enjoy the game and have fun. Just because a game is popular does not mean that it is fun. And just because a game is unpopular does not mean that it is not fun. People tell me every single day they're still having fun on Valorant, on Rainbow Six Siege, even on Tarkov, although I don't know how much I believe those people. But Call of Duty is the same every year. Yeah, they have some new stuff, just like World of Warcraft. Pretty much the same game. They keep adding some new stuff, changing the way the talents work, adding a new expansion, some new story, but you're still playing that same format of a game. I started back in vanilla. I just recently got to 1890 rated on 2s for Arena. Very different games from what it was to what it is today, but, still a lot's the same. FIFA, NBA, look at the sports games. Look, it's just, this is the common line. So you can't expect them to completely reinvent everything. A lot of people want to know, though, like, how excited am I for the new game, for all of the new stuff that's coming out? Personally, when it comes to multiplayer games, the new content fuels me for probably like 100 hours. I get the chance to play through all of the different weapons, which are kind of like different classes in many ways, how I look at it. Play through all the maps, the modes with those, get all the kill streaks, have some intense moments, some funny moments, and then I've played it all, and I really want some new maps, some new content for the game that I already like. Like, that's what keeps me going on these games so much now. I said the exact same thing before 2042 came out. People are like, Stone, he already hates the game? It's not even out. It's going to be the best game ever. And he's saying he's only going to put 100 hours in it. Does nothing. And compared to my previous experience on multiplayer respawn shooters, it's pretty much nothing. But what extends that for me is the DLC. It is the new maps. It keeps me going. Obviously, after 2042's launch, after Halo's launch, which started out looking so promising, coming out early, and then with Call of Duty changing over to Caldera, losing Verdansk, making it Vanguard Royale with all of these different ways to play that just ruined it for so many people. They've made a ton of fixes now, but like the state of all of these things, the point is, I understand why so many people are doomers on all this, because this is what, like, I see so many people that do have no hope for any of it. And you get burned, you don't want to go back to it as well. I mean, the number of people that I've talked to that don't even play games, or they just watch movies now, watch TV. I don't know what the hell people are even doing for the most part. I've always been playing games or had something that, I'd fall back to or switch genres over to or whatever through, pretty much my whole life. I played through New World, played through Lost Ark. I created a 4th channel. I've been playing F1. I'm going to get a whole racing sim set up. But the thing for me is that none of the other games hit quite like FPS games do. I always want to come back to them, and especially the battle royales. You've got the quick thinking, you got the abilities, you've got the reaction time, and then you also need that skill and precision for the aim. It's one of the things, too. I've been switching between controller and mouse, and I still want to keep coming back to the mouse. At the same time, I've talked to a lot of people who are super, super optimistic. Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2 looks like the best games ever. They were hyped for Overwatch. Now it's out. They're extremely happy with it. No new Call of Duty next year means they can really focus on this game. We've got super people coming out. People have been hyping up Shatterline as well. Like, there are more releases that are coming. After my commentary talking about Warzone 2 and playing it early, I will say, like, the opinions were very mixed. We're not going to get into all of that right now, but we, of course, just got past the Modern Warfare 2 beta, although now it's been a couple weeks. And when discussing the beta, even on stream, a lot of people thought that I was even being too negative of it. Even saying, like, I'm only going to play it for 100 hours. People want a good game that you can just know life for 1,000 hours again. But I very much try to live in the reality of the situations and, the reality of what we've been through for all of these other games. And keeping my expectations low sometimes works out really good. I've been saying this for months now, but we still haven't heard anything for FOV sliders on console for Warzone 2. I've done multiple rants on this, but They would be shouting this thing from the rooftops if it was going to be in the game, wouldn't they? I feel the same way with the DMZ mode. We haven't really seen any of it. Maybe they do a random little, here it is, and it's banging like Apex Legends was. Remember when they surprised us with that? It was unbelievable. But that is much more of a rarity in the world of this stuff. So I'm very much more of a let's wait and see if this actually is a thing. Well, then people say, okay, well, Stone, what's the reality of the situation then? And I will say there's been some phenomenal creators who have done histories, summaries of these game launches and comparisons with some of the previous games. I'm not going to get into full detail with some of it, but for example, Battlefield 2042. The stat I see everybody compare it to is that when Battlefield 4 came out, there was 14 maps in the first year versus 2042, which has received 2. Granted, it's not been quite the full thing, but the roadmap, well, kind of fell apart. There was definitely a lot of stuff that needed to be fixed, though, off the launch of that game. And we don't need to get into all of it, but the core of it for me was really the progression. And you're going to see this as a similar theme for many of these games. But with Battlefield, all of the weapon unlocks and new guns and progression came from getting actual kills. And it was a counter. And there was also AI in the game. And if you killed the AI, that also counted towards your progression. So I ended up just going into the beginning tutorial stage to just fight AI to maximize my efficiency and time playing the game so that I could unlock the weapons twice as fast, or maybe at least 10-50% faster. It's like getting an XP booster because you're just farming AI over and over. And it's super boring. It's not a fun way to play the game, but that's where my incentive was aligned. And so that was what I ended up doing. But of course, it's not. It was still fun. It was cool to see the maps. It was cool to see everything, but it was not as fun as it could have been. What I always talked about, if it was XP based, then you could just reward like 10 XP for a bot and 100 or 500 for a player, and then all of the progression can still happen across all of this stuff, but you don't need to have it. So anyways, I did enjoy my playthrough of it, and it's great to see even the map tweaks that are coming for it. I actually do want to go back to it even some more because I have seen some really cool updates. But this same exact phenomenon is happening for me now for Battle Royales, where I constantly want new guns, new maps, new things to do. That's one of the things that I always praise Fortnite for. It's like they do such a good job, and if you're playing that game, you're probably having a good time. I know some people complain about it, but like they have the amount of custom game capacity, the amount of build high skill level to no build shooter skill level. Of course, it's a bit more of a third person. On top of Battlefield having no story, so many bugs. We had to wait for it to really launch after the game launched to get everything fixed. And of course, Hazard Zone, which we thought would be this big extraction shooter, fun for a game or two, but then you realize there's not really anything at stake. You go in, even if you die, you still keep all your credits, pretty much, enough to go in on a fully kitted another run. Not really having to collect anything. It just felt like it was 25% of the way done. And also to mention here, we saw something similar with Operation Firestorm back in Battlefield 5, their first Battle Royale. This had a ton of potential, and look at what ended up happening. It didn't get quite enough love with it. Now, some of the developers at DICE have left to create their own studio and game called The Finals. That's another game I'm keeping my eye on. You will probably see some of me checking it out soon. I'm just not as much on that casual level for some of those games because I've already played so much of that content. I'm ready for the next new cool thing. And that's where I was really hoping Halo would come in. As with millions and millions of us, the experience from Halo 2 or Halo 3, these progressions and leaps they made for the industry and FPS games was just mind-blowing. And while I love Battle Royales, I really was optimistic for Halo Infinite to deliver without even needing one. They can innovate. They can do so much, even with what they already have. It could stand on its own 2 feet, and it was already brilliant. Hence, why so many of us love it. It came out early, the game was polished, but then as you start playing it, you realize, well, there's a lot missing. When is the rest coming? Again, we're actually almost exactly a year later, and we've got a couple new maps. The reason so many people fell in love with it back in the day is because they were so innovative, man. Like going into multiplayer shooters, being able to dual wield, having a ranked online playlist, being able to go into custom games, invite anybody that you're just trash talking into a 1v1, into a zombies match that you can just create these custom rules for. Infinite feels great, but it feels like we went back to a demo for the game that we remembered. But I'm starting to think that I was wrong. And maybe they should have just focused on doing more of a battle royale. Because then That would keep at least some innovation, something new for me to really be excited about and to keep on grinding, even if I don't have all of the other content that goes along with it. Fortnite just has one real main map, but they keep on adding it and doing all of these other things around it to keep you engaged and keep you playing it. That's what keeps it so much fun. But I just really never imagined that it would be this bad. When it came to Vanguard coming out, by the nature of this game being, set in the past, limited weapons, it's already a niche. But what it also meant for Warzone is that they increased the skill gap. You got to put 10 attachments on every single gun. Many of those are also bugs. So it says it does one thing, it does the complete opposite, or the effect doesn't even exist. It doesn't do anything. You got to watch videos on this stuff to even figure it out in the first place. And the way they changed from Verdansk to Caldera completely changed the way that the Battle Royale was even played. You used to get your loadout right away, double loadout. Now you have to wait 7 minutes to even get your first loadout. Even if you have enough cash, there's a guaranteed fire sale. The vehicles all feel like crap. People are flying around dropping 60 kill games. What happened to all the Easter eggs, all the little things that you could do around no. And the nail in the coffin, really, for so many I've heard from, was Krampus and the Christmas event, where you have this behemoth juggernaut that's chasing you down the entire game. Very hard to kill, gives your position away. The AI was just terrible, and especially if it came on you at endgame. Now, they fixed it later on. Less health, only came at you early game, but that was where at least I saw a nosedive in the players. And this is coming from the dude who never stopped playing. I still play the game. I got more videos on this game in the days than it's been out. This is what I've remained playing, and it's just like, to me, it's so much fun. That core element of especially solos, especially in the end game, that crazy ending that is just like, it's masterful. You got to use some strategy, you got to use your skill, you got to use your aim, reaction time, everything. And that's what I say when people say, how are you still playing this game? And to the point I made earlier, I don't think you guys realize how much I play games. I'm almost 100% on the Lost Ark Adventure Tome, okay? I got 4 gaming YouTube channels where I'm playing so many different games every week. I had to create a document to keep track of them all. But nothing hits like that Battle Royale for me. And the improvements they've made by staying on the game has been beneficial. They are always putting new guns. Now there's over 200 guns in the game. There's now lootable perks. There's gulag and redeploy tokens. There's redeploy balloons. There's a new fast travel system that's actually way better than the trams were. Portable buy stations you can use. Like, if they had this stuff back on Verdansk, bro, it would be so good. But personally, I would rather them keep on creating more new maps. Give us more stuff to play. That's one of the reasons I've gone through and played so many different Battle Royales. And whenever a new one comes out, we go check it out because it's some new fresh content, new map to learn, new build. How does that game play? What would be cool features to put into this game? Them focusing on solos and creating research in solos was one of my favorite things. I would love it if they did that for the big map and gave us an even better solos experience there, like they do with buyback, occasionally giving that and making changes like removing the helicopters, planes, etc. Again, this is all subjective, but you guys are asking my thoughts on it. We went back to PUBG. It's a great game. You do get that insane feeling, but man, not being able to res your team after a couple of them die at the beginning and you have to either sit there and wait for 25 minutes for the game to finish out or just blow yourself up with a frag. Like, we have to reset so many games. You got to wait to get into the game. Then you got to wait for the countdown clock. Then you got to wait for the game to start and the playing. It takes so much time. Like, it's, if you just want to hop on for a couple games, it's not really super conducive to do that. Although I do love the TDM they added and many of the changes they've made to the game as well. That's just their style, though. Apex is a completely different style. I absolutely love it. That's why I've spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours in the game. Every couple seasons, we go back. There's a ton of new content with new champions, new map. Like, they are keeping it very refreshed, and I almost feel like I need to just go full send back into the game. Maybe I will, but it's not really what I'm looking for right now in my style of play. Tarkov is one that I'm definitely going to be going back to once the game is out, but with all of the complete wipes that happen, like, I don't want to lose all of my progress and everything that I've worked towards. I love building a character over a long period of time and having more stuff too. That's one of the reasons I'm a bit disappointed Warzone isn't at least keeping the progression over to the next game. or at least giving you some COD points back or some credits like prestige tokens that we saw in Cold War that let you unlock certain skins. But I played through most of Tarkov. There's been more updates to it that I will check out, but a lot of it I'm just waiting for that full release. If you haven't figured out, typically I like the big AAA games. Heck, I've even thought of going back and playing some Rainbow Six Siege. But at that point, it almost looks like there's too much to learn, especially with how competitive that game is. It's insane. I spent years covering the game, and it is one of my favorites, but I never really played at that level of competitive. For me, it got into the point of watching clips and uploading clips because people were just so much better than the plays that I could pull off. That's why I've actually been incredibly surprised of how interested I've been in Overwatch 2. This was a game I absolutely loved back in the day when Overwatch came out, but I couldn't quite make the content work. I tried to do my And We Are Live series on it and a bunch of things, but I had to walk away from it. And I got bitter, and I just couldn't watch any of the content either. I unfollowed everything on it, and I stopped. But now, with years away from it, looking at it again, so this looks exactly like Overwatch 1, and I barely even played the game as much as I wanted to. But actually playing it, myself, my friends, like, I'm surprised at how much fun I'm actually having on it. I don't know how much it could translate to the content here, but I love class-based games. You play a specific role. That's how I even play Warzone. I play the sniper. I'm the range. But I think that helps by keeping the expectations so low that once I play it and I'm playing through every single legend and there's so many of them, there's so many maps, and you could just play arcade now. It doesn't have to be a complete sweat fest and ranked. It's been great. So I'm looking forward to playing some more of that, and I'm still looking forward to the rest of the year. This is not complete doom, okay? Maybe I got you a little bit with the title, and if you're watching to this point, I love you, man. I might have scared you because, I'm pretty positive in general with stuff, but we're going to keep up and get those views, okay? Modern Warfare 2 is going to be a grind fest for me to be ready for Warzone 2. I'm going to be studying the ground war maps because that is going to be Al Mazrah, whatever it is, the new Warzone 2 map. If DMZ impresses, this could be a powerful new mode. But at this point, with the limited stuff we've seen, which is nothing, I'm doubtful. We have the next event, and all we have heard is that DMZ is confirmed. But living in reality, I would imagine that they would be shouting from the rooftops, DMZ is insane. Look at these clips. It's better than Tarkov. FOV slider on console for Warzone 2. This would be the title of every video. By all means, let's get it done. Prove me wrong, please, dude. And if you can't prove me wrong, please delay it. We are probably not going to get another second chance with Warzone 2. The game had a lot of bugs in alpha, and I have no idea how much it takes to fix, repair, develop games. Maybe they could get it done in 2 months. Maybe they need a half a year. But whatever they come out with, I hope it is polished. I hope it is in a great state. Many games try to deliver the minimum viable product of what they can, and they don't even hit the minimum for it. Especially AAA developers, which of course brings us to Project Moon, aka Dead Drop, Dr. Disrespect's new extraction shooter game. I did a video with some of my initial reactions on it. The overall concept, I think, is actually phenomenal. They are publicly developing this game with snapshots every 6 weeks, which I thought was pretty insanely aggressive, and we already saw with the second one that they had to delay it. I still will be going through. I will 100% be checking this out. I think if the right game comes along, like PUBG did for Battle Royales, this 100% could happen for extraction shooters as well. Tarkov is doing a phenomenal job. They have a diehard audience, but it's also not super accessible to the absolute masses, which is also why I think Call of Duty has incredible potential with this type of game mode as well. And you could even argue that PUBG wasn't super accessible, but it's also such a simple game of just spawn in, shoot gun in head. Like, you can explain that to anybody. You don't need all the other stuff that you need with, like, WoW Arena. Good luck trying to explain that to somebody. There's tons of other games that I'm playing, looking forward to as well. And we're not going to go through everything here. If you guys want to hear me talk about this even more, definitely let me know. But it's not even just this genre. I'm interested in Ashes of Creation, new MMORPG that's coming out. After playing through all of New World, unlocking every single subclass to the maximum rank, I was a lot more optimistic and hoping that they would have endgame done and something to deliver with it. And we really didn't get that. And there was also a lot of frustrations that I had with that game that, I'm a little worried for it on Ashes, but it's still so early. I have no idea. The other thing is the finals. I think this is one of the ones I'm most excited for, and I have not yet seen it or played it outside of the trailer of what they're hyping it up to be. But we also saw incredible hype from games like Maverick's Proving Grounds, which is going to be a 1,000-player battle royale. I was like, yeah, good luck with that. Let's see how that turns out. Didn't even launch. So, sometimes these are a hit. Sometimes they're a miss. If you enjoyed the commentary, check out my last one about Warzone 2 or any of the ones in my playlist. And if you've not checked out my YOLOs, and if you have not checked out my Commanding Officer series, at least give my 1,000th win a shot. Go watch the video. Thank you so much for watching, though. That's for this one. This is StoneMountain64. Over and out. Heck, even look at a lot of other communities right now. People are pissed. In many ways, maybe we are.
But Stone, Call of Duty just came out with their beta.